Okay, you are in the kitchen with Jelly at 007, and tonight, rack of lamb in the Ninja FOODI. And we're going to do a couple of tricks to where most people haven't done this in a Ninja FOODI. So I'm going to show you, we're going to use a meter, that's what I'm getting at. And this meter is wireless, and I can insert it in here and put it in there, and we'll be watching for temperature instead of time. So when that hits 130, which is the temperature I'm taking it to, I know a lot of people don't do that high temp. Some people stop at 120, but 130 seems to be what I like. And I love lamb. It doesn't get cooked a lot here in the South, I'm not going to lie. So, you know, it's one of the things that's just a little different here. But I think I think it has a lot of deer meat qualities. I don't know why it's not eaten here much. It's just not. I'm not going to stay on that long. But what I'm going to do with it, we're going to sear it on all sides. Once it's seared, I'll bring it out. I'm going to brush it with Goulden's Dijon mustard. I'm going to roll it in panko breadcrumbs and some dried rosemary. Try to make it as simple. You can use fresh. I ain't gonna have to tell you that, but I'm trying to make it simple. It's supposed to be fast. It's in the Ninja. That's always my point. I got 3 cloves of garlic right here that I'm going to mince, and got the new ThermaPen. I just got in today or yesterday, and I'm going to be double checking the meter a little bit with it, and I'm kind of anxious to use it. So we're going to get some of this started, and I'm sure I've left out a few things. I mean, obviously I'm going to spray it with avocado oil, and I'm going to spray the inside of that before we sear, but you're going to see all that in just a second. So y'all hold on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I have this avocado oil from Pompeian that I've found works great. I'm just going to kind of lightly spray by the way, this is a 1 pound and 1 ounce rack of lamb, of course, and then I'm just going to put salt. Just sprinkle it with salt a little bit right here, and I personally don't put anything else on it at this point. So we're just going to, like I said, salt it, and that's pretty much all I'm going to do. Next step is saute sear. The lid has to be up. It's on high. I'm going to hit start. So in a few minutes, actually, we're going to do this also. I'm going to spray the inside of that pot. When that gets warm, we're going to drop that in there and do some searing. So y'all hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so one of the neat things about me having these gadgets is that you don't need them, because that right there is 450 degrees, 460, after almost exactly 5 minutes. So I'm going to lay this rack of this rack of lamb in, just like that. And we're gonna let that sear for a few minutes, and I'll be right back. Okay, so that is about 3 minutes, and what I do spin it every once in a while, but here's what 3 minutes looks like. And we're probably gonna go ahead and flip it over for now, because I can get that side again. You see, it's got some pretty good caramelization going on right here. So I'm just gonna keep it tucked into that corner kind of, because it seems to fit a little better. Maybe do that right there. That's all I'm doing. And again, that's after 3 minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're coming up on the next 3 minutes. Now I will say, I've been pushing it in that corner and kind of rotating it so I get on, the pan gets hot, let it get hot again, whatever. It is starting to smoke a little bit, but you can see that looks really good. I mean, that's really close to what I'm looking for. Now I am going to stand it on this edge for a minute, and I don't know how long, but just a couple of minutes, but I'll be right back. But so far we're at 6 minutes. Okay, just for the record, that was 1 minute on that side, on that top edge, and then I'm going to stand it on the edges for probably a minute or so. But I mean, you get the idea. I don't have to keep showing you this. It's simple. It's common sense. You're just trying to get it brown, and you can use it, do as long as you want. But that looks good to me. I'm going to brown that edge right there, and I'll be good. Okay, so that's a total of about 10 minutes. I'm just going to take it out. We're going to put it right there and let it rest. First thing you want to do though is turn that Ninja off, because it's still trying to stay real hot. We're going to get the meter inserted into it, and then I'm going to start mixing up the panko breadcrumbs and the rosemary. So y'all hold up, be right back. Okay, so here is what I'm referring to as the meter. And it's a wireless probe that will go in the Ninja. And I mean, you know, they're pretty neat devices, I won't lie. They work pretty good. You should, there it comes. As soon as I pull it out of the unit, it fires itself up, and now it sees this tip as 74 degrees. So what we're going to do is, I know I'm going to be somewhere around, you have to go to that line. So I'm going to put it to right there, right at that line. And that'll put me pretty close to in the middle of the roast. Maybe I should go from the other way, but we're not. This is good. It's not that critical. We're looking for 130, so we're going to be, you know, pretty good at where we're at anyhow. So there's what we're getting right there. As long as that'll fit in there hanging out, we are good. And by the way, this will show me the internal temperature of this chamber while we're cooking also. I hadn't set a target. I may do that in a minute, but this right here, once it gets warm, it'll light up and show the temperature there. So anyhow, I'm over explaining that. We're gonna get the breadcrumbs mixed up. I gotta get this out of the way and we'll start that. You know, hold up. Yeah, I wanted to explain a couple of things. I moved this to the other side because my ThermaPen, already paying for itself, it was showing 105 from where I had it probed. So I checked it with a ThermaPen and I got readings of 100. So I turned this around and put it back in the center. So I mean, this is a really neat device to have. They're not paying me. In fact, I bought this out of my pocket recent because my other one broke, but so far so good. Now the next thing is, I've had this mortal and pestle for about 4 years, and I've been dying for a reason to use it. So I did put 2.5 tablespoons of dried rosemary leaves in there, and I've kind of crushed them up a little bit. But no big deal if you don't crush them, I'm sure. You know, you can even use fresh, like I said. So I'm fixing to get the panko in there. We're gonna mix that up, rub this with mustard, and go from there. Hang on. Okay, so I'm pretty much just going to bread one side. So that's all I'm gonna put the Dijon mustard on. And I'm just gonna do, I mean, I might get around the edge a little bit. That looks like plenty to me. Just gonna brush that around. If it ain't, we'll add more. So brush it on the edges a little bit. And I'm going to let that heat up. Let that lay there and heat just a minute. If you'll notice, this is went, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, this is went to 103 and just carry over from that searing. So it's still warm, and I want that mustard to kind of melt down. And then we got to pour just a little bit of olive oil and that rosemary. Put all this together. That's about 1.25 cups of panko, which I won't need all that, but there's plenty of it. So I'm going to just dampen that a little bit with the olive oil, and we're going to, as soon as that settles into that a little bit and kind of heats up, we're going to roll that around in there, and then we'll be ready to put it back in the Ninja. Be back in a second. Okay, so now the 3 cloves of garlic that I've minced in this device that works real well itself is going in. I'm going to try and get that out of there best I can, but that's the only drawback. You do lose a little bit of garlic, but I put extra in there, so we're good. And then I'm going to knock that in there. And we're going to call that good. Like I said, I put 3 large cloves in there, so I'm good on garlic. I'm not a big, it's not going to bother me if I don't get every bit of it. And then my 2.5 tablespoons of rosemary, dried rosemary that I have crushed up, and I need to find something to mix that with, but you know what? Ain't no problem, I'll do it with my hands. And a little bit of olive oil, just a little bit, about like that. And we'll see how that does. Probably wouldn't hurt if I put a little salt, but the salt, it's already got salt on it, and I'm a big believer of you can salt later at the table. So that's my mixture, and you know, it's got rosemary in it, and you're going to be able to taste that rosemary, and I think that's enough. I don't have to say, but you can add ever how much you like. Now let's see right quick. That's sitting at 100 degrees. We're going to use a ThermaPen to see how close it is, and I think I'm dying to use it, like I said. So I'm going to look to see if you can see that, but we are 99 degrees right there. 99 degrees on the ThermaPen and 100 on the meter. So we're pretty much as close as I could wish for. Now, what we're going to do is roll this around just like that. And like I said, I got way more breadcrumbs than I need, but that box has got a lot, and it's just it's not a big deal. It's not that expensive. And we're obviously not going to get the end with the meter in it. But I'm going to let that sit just like that. I'm going to wipe my hands off and get the camera where you can see what it looks like going in. Because that is the next step. There's no need in stopping. I'm just going to knock off a little bit of excess. I'm going to lay that just like that. And you can see the meter right here. That's going to show us our ambient temperature. They call it ambient, the inside of that chamber. So, lid down. Now I'm shaking the camera up a little bit. And then we're going to do roast for, we're going to take it all the way to 400. And we're going to call it, you know what, we'll put 20 minutes there because we're not going by that time. We're going by that number right there. We're at 199. We're looking for around 130. You know, if 128, 130. We'll see what it looks like in a few minutes. So y'all hold on, and I will be right back when that gets going. Okay, so for the record, and at the 10-minute mark, which I looked back on my video, I need to correct something. I said we were at 199. Obviously, we were at 99. One other thing I saw, I covered up. You couldn't see how much olive oil I put in that in those breadcrumbs, but take my word, it was like a tablespoon. It's not a big deal. It's maybe a tablespoon, and then mix it up and just look and feel. Right now, one of the things I didn't do, maybe you should, was maybe I should have preheated the Ninja. I did not. That was from a cold Ninja or whatever was left over, the heat left over from the searing we did. And at roughly 10 minutes, we're at 111 internal. So that would be, you know, from, what was it, 99 or 100 to 11 degrees. And you can see it's going up fairly fast now. It took it a while to start rising, but now it's turning it on. So I got a feeling it won't be that much longer. And you can see there's the ambient, or that's the inside of the chamber, 425 degrees. So in just a minute, I got a feeling we're going to be pulling that out, letting it rest, and getting ready to eat it. I'll be back. Okay, so roughly right at 15 minutes, we got 5 minutes left of cooking time. It's at 129. All right, I know I'm fixing to lift it because, in fact, it just hit 130. So let's see how it looks. I was debating on doing some broil on it, but you know what? I'm not. That looks perfect. Now, that's the first time I've lifted that lid because all I was going for was this. And maybe I should have opened that at 128 or so. I got a feeling we're going past that. So I'm definitely going to get this out of here and get it on this plate to get that to stop any more of that rapid temperature rise it's doing. So we're going to let it rest a little bit, and we'll see how where it ends up. We pulled it at 131 or 132, so give you an idea how that works too. We'll know how far it goes on a carryover cooking. And there's no way of doing a timer. I'll time it with my watch, and I got that, and I'll be right back. Okay, that is right at exactly 5 minutes of rest time, and wow, from 130 to 151. I wish I had pulled it at around 120, but we're fixing to see what it looks like. I think it'll be fine. I'm going to have to pull my meter out, and as a matter of fact, let's see what we have with the ThermaPen. And let's see if you can see that, because that is spot on. 153. Well, that's going to 154 after I leaned it back, but 153 right there, and I'm 152 on the meter. So the meter seems to be accurate, and I mean, I trust this. From all the reviews on it, this is the thing to have. And a couple of people recommended it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to shout them out in just a minute because it's a really good looking device. So we're fixing to pull this out at 152, and I'm going to cut it in half because that, if you ask me, is perfect for 2 people. That 1 pound rack of lamb is just a good cut for 2 people. So right down the middle, and to be honest with you, even at 152, that looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I like the looks of that. So I'm gonna get me a plate and cut these into what I normally do is, it's depending on how I'm doing it, but it's, if you're, like I said, it's depending how you do it. You can cut them each individual bone and make thin ones, or cut them again right here. And I'm sure you already know that. Of course, this one right here is gonna make the better ones. That's probably the one I'm gonna eat tonight. So anyhow, I'm gonna get that started. I'll be right back. Okay, so rack of lamb in the South. And this, well, I'll show you how it looks. This would be what I would call one serving, and a little Golden's or any Dijon mustard, and some flake salt and some pepper, and you have rack of lamb, and it looks excellent. And even at that temp that got out of control a little bit, it's still fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I definitely would have pulled it at, say, 125 had I had it do over again, but I bit off too much again. To me, it's real similar to deer meat, and even done at that level. And that's the same way I cook deer meat. I don't get it done. It's excellent. Anyhow, now you know times and temps, about how long it takes to again, if you preheated your Ninja, I just wouldn't. There's nothing wrong with what happened right there. Don't preheat your Ninja. Just put it in, and that is about as good a time as you can get. It's excellent. So anyhow, y'all come back to see me. Thank you very much for watching the video. Cook you a rack of lamb. I think it's excellent. Love y'all all. Oh, by the way, I got to call out somebody. I'm trying to remember their name. It is well, account 0855 wanted a shout out. But then Mike Edwards, that's who recommended the ThermaPen for me. And Caden Wood, both of them suggested this. And man, when I read about it, it looks like exactly what I needed. So I really do appreciate that, y'all. I don't know if I'm even on the camera anymore, but I appreciate that, y'all. Again, y'all come back to see me. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Bye-bye.